sisters. This is Yeshua Said My Name. In this video, I'm going to attempt to prove that the papal dynasty in Rome throughout the centuries is indeed the prophesied Antichrist, man of sin. In the original Greek, anti or anti means in place of or a substitute for. I can't stress this enough. We are taught in the English language that anti or anti strictly means in open opposition to. However, if you look in the original language in which the scriptures were written, and you can look this up yourself to verify it, anti or anti can also mean in place of or substitute for. In the book of Daniel, we are shown actually what the Antichrist would look like, what would be his characteristics, where he would come from, and how to recognize him. In my opinion, the descriptions of the anti-substitute Christ, man of sin, is none other than the papal dynasty in Rome, and I believe the book of Daniel outlines this perfectly. Starting in Daniel 11:37, in the King James Version, it says here about the Antichrist, "Neither shall he regard the God of his fathers, nor the desire of women, nor regard any god, for he shall magnify himself above them all." Now notice that the papal dynasty in Rome, including the priests, but the papal dynasty in Rome does not marry. They do not engage in marriage. It says here that not only will he not regard the God of his fathers, and of course back then the Romans worshiped many different pagan gods. So it's saying here that this man of sin, or Antichrist, substitute Christ, would not regard the gods of his fathers, nor marry or have the desire for women, nor regard any god, for he shall magnify himself above them all. This is Daniel 11:37. So one of the characteristics we're shown here in Daniel 11:37 is that the popes of Rome will not marry. Now, one thing I want to stress here, the anti or antichrist is not just one man in a future scenario. I believe that the man of sin, this little horn of Daniel, okay, a horn in scripture represents a power or a seat. This little horn, this little power or little seat or position that is prophesied in Daniel to come to power is none other than a papal dynasty. In other words, every pope throughout the centuries has been this revealed man of sin that Paul talked about in 2 Thessalonians, that the man of sin would be revealed. This is a seat of a man. It is a progressive dynasty of men who have come as the vicar, substitute Christ on earth, that look like a lamb, look like Christ on the outside, but inwardly they are the man of sin. Jesus said that many, in Matthew 24, Jesus said, "Many men will come in my name claiming I am Christ." Well, this is, in my opinion, fulfilled when the Pope of Rome comes calling himself the Holy Father. And down through the centuries, it has been written and quoted and cited from Catholic sources, not just Protestant sources, that the popes of Rome have claimed to be God on earth. So in Daniel 11:34, when it says he exalts himself above every god, speaks blasphemies against the Most High, this man of sin, this little horn power in the papal dynasty, claims to be the Holy Father. Now in Isaiah, when the Messiah was prophesied to be born, Isaiah said that Christ would be called the singular mighty God, the everlasting Father. So for the Pope to come, the papal dynasty to come in the name, the Holy Father, does it not fulfill Matthew 24, where Christ himself says, "Many will come in my name, claiming to be he, claiming to be me"? So I wanted to take us through some information from the book of Daniel. I wanted to preface it with that. It says here that in this article that I'm looking at from amazingfacts.org, that the Church of Rome has shed more innocent blood than any other institution that has ever existed among mankind. And we question by no Protestant who has a complete or competent knowledge of history. Now in Revelation, let me see here if I can find it. All right, in Revelation chapter 18, verse 24, actually acknowledging what I just read, that in the Church of Rome has shed more innocent blood than any other institution that has ever existed among mankind, that can actually be proven in Revelation 18, verse 24. "And in her," meaning Vatican City, Mystery Babylon, okay, "in her was found the blood of prophets and of saints and of all that have been slain upon the earth." notice it doesn't just say that she's guilty of just the blood of the saints. It says here that which she is. It says here, and all that were slain upon the earth, God lays at her feet. She or her in Bible prophecy is a church. God has a true church and Satan has his counterfeit church. Out of this counterfeit church, according to Revelation 17, the man of sin, or the vicar of Christ, this little horn power that Daniel prophesied about, would come to power in the papal dynasty from Vatican Rome, modern mystery Babylon. All right, will we have a final man of sin when Christ returns? Yes, but this futuristic prophecy that there be only one Antichrist, or this man of sin will not be revealed until we're taken off the earth. I don't believe this, and let me regress a little bit to 2 Thessalonians, where Paul tells the Thessalonians, who are Gentile believers, that the day of the Lord will not come, and our gathering together with Christ in the clouds in the air will not happen until after the man of sin be revealed. We're being taught in the churches today that we won't know who the man of sin is. We will not know who the Antichrist is, so don't even bother trying to figure it out. Another lie is that the Antichrist will be a Muslim. He will come from a Muslim nation, which in my opinion is Satan's way of working through the Jesuit teachings in the seminaries to take our eyes off of the Catholic Church and looking in the wrong direction for the revealing of the man of sin. Why do I say that he won't be a Muslim? Because in Revelation 17, it says here, let me see, Revelation 17, starting in verse 4, and you can look this up yourself, King James Version, and the woman, meaning church, Mystery Babylon, was dressed or arrayed in purple and scarlet color. Do not the bishops and the cardinals, including the Pope at times, wear purple and scarlet? And decked with gold and precious stones and pearls. The Vatican is wealthy beyond imagination, decked with gold and precious stones and pearls. Having a golden cup in her hand. Notice the her, meaning a church. A her, a woman, a she, prophetically is a church. So this mystery Babylon and the man of sin will come from a harlot church. And who else holds the golden cup of the Mass but Catholicism? The Vatican in Rome, holding the golden cup. So the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet, which points to the Vatican, decked in gold and precious stones and pearls, and having a golden cup in her hand. It also says here that she is Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and the abominations of the earth. She is also sitting on a city of 7 hills. Now, this is identified as Rome. Another prophecy in the book of Daniel states that the man of sin, the prince that shall come, meaning the anti or substitute Christ, would come from those who destroyed the city and the temple. These were the Roman armies under Titus that destroyed the city and the temple. The final world empire, even according to Nebuchadnezzar's dream, which Daniel translated for King Nebuchadnezzar, stated that it would be the Roman Empire that would be the final empire before Christ set up his kingdom on earth. So according to what we read in Daniel 11, what we've read about the Pope not desiring to marry, Jesus saying that many would come in his name, claiming to be the Holy Father, that this poor Babylonian system, that this man of sin or little horn power would come from a system dressed in purple and scarlet, sitting on a city of 7 hills, holding a golden cup in her hand of fornication and abomination. So this is what I wanted to bring to your attention. And as we continue reading here, some more proof that I have here. Let me see here. All right. If you really want to backtrack into the book of Daniel, starting in Daniel 7:25, it starts to outline the kingdoms that would come to power. And the Lord perfectly prophesies which kingdoms would rise and fall before the revealing of this Antichrist or man of sin. This little horn Antichrist power represents a substitute Christ. And it says here that in Daniel that this little horn, meaning a power, a seat, a position of a man, would come from a small people. That he would come in peaceably and come from a small people. Daniel says this: he will come in in the name of peace, and he will come to power with a small people. Vatican City State is one of the, if not the smallest countries in the world.